All right, Baller Nation. So I actually got my computer out. So this might be lower quality, which you're used to. It may not be. I looked at some of the other video. It didn't look all that great anyway. So I'm not so concerned with it. So I read your comment, and basically you were saying tough things to friends, which is basically similar. So I feel like my response in the two videos, part one and part two, that I just uploaded, I feel like that the response is pretty uh, suitable, I guess. But and I've had conversations with people where it was like, okay, and especially as you get older, where you say, hey man, let me talk to you a second. And that's my voice as a leader. I'm a leader at a certain gym that I play ball at, and so I may have to younger guy pull him aside and say, hey man, you came in here smelling like weed, and somebody said they saw you smoking outside. You can't do that around the church. So it's something I have to do as a leader. And one thing that helped me as a leader was when I first became a leader, my goal was for people to know how much I loved them and cared about them, and to have them not think that I'm just there to think I'm or hold on, let me start over. I didn't want them to think I was a hypocrite. I wanted them to know that I love the Lord, and those things are incredible and important and amazing. But I figured out that more important than that were two other things. And this may sound crazy, but the two things that I found out were more important in being a leader were, one, actually loving the Lord and loving them, and two, the fact that if I'm trying to love them and make sure that they know that I love them, but then I don't say something tough or difficult on time, I might be thinking, man, I want them to know I love them, so I'm not going to be so hard on them. Even though he came in smelling like weed 5 different days, and somebody said he was smoking in the bathroom one day, I don't really want to turn him away. I don't want him to. Then what can happen in that kind of situation is church leadership can say, hey, we got complaints of weed smoke. We're going to shut your ministry down. I'm so sorry, but we can't have that in here. And so at the expense of him wanting this one guy A, who was smoking weed, wanted him to not feel hurt, I ruined it for anybody in the future, and for whether it's unbeliever or believer, to unbeliever come in, potentially hear the gospel and be saved, or a believer that this is kind of his safe haven, his solace, come in here and play ball. If I don't respond how I'm supposed to respond, for the sake of that one guy, I ruin it for these other guys. And so what I realized, and also, if we're not going to be sharing the gospel with anybody if we don't have a gym. And so I realized that the number one goal as a leader was to not lose this gym. And so I had to be hard on people, even if I didn't want to be. And so it got to a point where it was like people were saying, "Oh man, I don't like this new version of you." And my mindset was not, "Oh, I don't care," even though that's people can say that, man. I don't care what you think, but I do care what people think. But my main goal was, I don't care enough about what you think to not to lose this gym. I'm gonna fight to keep this gym. And oh, you don't want me here? I said I don't want anybody here that's not gonna follow the rules. If you were gonna follow the rules, I want you here. And it wasn't about he was upset with me. It wasn't about what I didn't care about any of that. I cared about keeping the gym so that we can have a great place to play, share the gospel, and all those things. And so I relating that back to saying a hard thing to a friend, I think what is the prime goal and the prime objective? And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself. Is the prime goal this guy knows how much you love him? Or is it perceptibly higher, imperceptibly higher? I do love him enough to say this, regardless of what he thinks, because if I don't say this, the consequences for his soul could be eternal. And if something happened and I didn't say what I was supposed to say, how could I ever live with myself? And so Not saying you can't. Of course you want the people to know you love them, but is there a higher goal? This is this is the more important than that. Parents have to deal with that with kids a lot. We get in relationships with spouses, and of course, I think the best people in the world that deal with this better than anybody are brothers. When you're growing up, you say anything to your brother, you almost punch him in the mouth, trying to get him to do the right thing or whatever it is, because you love him. The love, he knows you love him. You don't have to question, and he won't question. You can say whatever to him, but he knows you love him, and you got his best interest. So you don't have to worry about that part. Oh, does he know that I care? He knows that you care. And if you know that you care, sometimes that has to be enough for that time. And like I said, it's easier said than done. And I'm not saying that the other thing is not important. It's very important that people know it. Because if people don't know you care, you can tune a person out, ruin a relationship. And because there's some fathers, they're so hard on their kids. And, well, I'm doing it because I care. But at the expense of what? The relationship. So they do need to know. The Bible says love is patient, love is kind, all these things. I'm just saying, is it the most important thing? It's up there. And I guess maybe after I think about all that, really what I'm saying is, man, I don't know. I don't have the balance. You got to ask God. And each situation might be different. Like, I think it's in maybe it's the book of Jude, where it says, to some people show mercy, to some, you want to kind of almost scare them. And others, you even hate the flesh that's stained by their, I forget exactly, or hate the clothes stained by, I forget what the verse is, but point is, some people got to be hard on, some people be merciful, some people, so it's just different things for different people. But the prime goal is, what does God want me to do? What's the right thing in this particular situation? And for me, the right thing, in a sense, as far as setting up the meeting, was doing that and then preparing what I was going to say beforehand. It's difficult to just off the cuff, or if you see somebody and say, man, I got to say this, let me go say it right now. 9 times out of 10, you pray about it, then you think about it, then God give you the opportunity. I've had that happen. So anyway, I'm going to do this last set of body weight stuff. Maybe I should do some another one of these and then do that. I don't know why I'm moaning like this. Oh, that's enough. Yeah, it may not be no body weight today. Feeling kind of like maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. That's enough. All right, man. That was mainly for you, Baller Nation. Hope that helped. And I appreciate you. All right.